Boom. Hey, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you're at. My name is Chris Johnson. This is the Obless brainstorming, and it's going to be a lot about water. I have three very special guests. One, Jeffrey Morlock, Mr. Hello, and he's going to bring on two, I think, key players to Obless, and they're going to talk about their company, and they are global and what they can do. Ash Mafar had said to us 2 weeks ago that what would you do if you could push a button and end poverty? And this is my button, trying to connect people together, trying to connect corporations that do green, that help people out. So I'm gonna have to push one button. I wanna make sure all these companies are connected together. We push that one button when we have something big, and boom, they go to work. And of course, we're gonna have the funding through Obless. I'm very excited. Myself and Peter Shore are extremely excited about this. And I'm going to turn this over to Jeffrey Morlock because my voice is completely gone. Jeffrey, go ahead.
You do stay busy and you don't sleep much there, Chris. I certainly appreciate that. And hello to everybody. I hope you're having an outstanding passive day, or unpassive day rather. Thank you, Chris. I certainly appreciate you and all those working behind the scenes, for hosting this tonight. Also, you had mentioned Ash. We want to send out a great big thank you to Mr. Ash Mufara for the vision, the support, the encouragement, that's brought us all here. He and his family are a great blessing to a great many. So I'm going to get started here with just a little bit right off the bat for posterity, just a little bit about our roots. Okay. OnPassive was established, as we know, by Mr. Ash Mufara. He's the visionary founder and CEO. And that happened back when the O Founders platform, it is the O Founders now, but it used to be Go Founders, came in the fourth quarter of 2018. So we've been at this about 3.5 years. Now, Mr. Mufar is a postgraduate degree earner of information technology, and he has been online active in the marketing arena for about 25 years. He's been very, very successful at it, but in all that time, he really couldn't find a company with ethical standards that were high enough to use for his own business model. So he studied the greats, like some people do, like Google and Wells Fargo and Amazon and such. He came up with a brand new revolutionary business model that's based on connectedness and mutual benefit. And he's using it to lift humanity through the benevolence of what we call the OnPassive vision. Now, back then, 2018, it started with a general plan, quickly grew into a company with a massive marketing platform. It hosts dozens of physical products now that are already being manufactured. It's got several dozen seamlessly integrated digital products as well that are all automated through AI, machine learning in particular. Now, one of those digital products is a powerful, generous platform called Obless that's transforming the crowdfunding space that we know and love. And last week, when you were talking on your webinar last week, Chris, you had mentioned the number 1.6 billion. And to flesh that out just a little bit, that number came from HUD, because HUD has actually estimated about 1.6 billion people live with inadequate housing, and their data suggests that about 100 million of them have no housing at all. So this means getting rid of global homelessness is rather intimidating, to say the least, but it can be done. And it can be done if we do it the same way that we eat an elephant, so to speak, which is one bite at a time. And to do this, we need to follow Mr. Mufara's lead to create a new model, beginning with a general plan. And tonight, we're digging the trenches, so to speak, that future foundations for the Obless homelessness model is going to be poured into, right? That our program can stand on. And it's the start of a general plan. Now, once done, a model that reduces or eliminates homelessness in a test area, like we find with the state of Michigan there, Chris, where you are, then it can be reproduced and it can be scaled up or down as needed for other areas. Now, we know that Obless is going to be used as a funding platform, and we know that we've got a ton of knowledgeable, talented, professional people in the founder community that we can use for fielding ideas and adopting activities, right, for the development of our model. And creating this model, as Chris, you have pointed out to me, is analogous to building a city. to that end, you've got that sheet, right, Chris, for that we can fill out for people that we recommend to participate in the homeless model. Obviously, that form and anything said tonight can change according to the needs of the project. But right now, I'm going to talk about a few things that we need to include moving forward. And when finished, I want to introduce a very nice man, Bob. You met him a little bit ago. He's going to share a little bit about his company, his history, and the extraordinary things that that company is doing with sustainable technologies. I mean, he's probably going to set your mind on fire. And he's also going to share how these things can bring some long-term benefit to the world through OnPassive and the Old Blessed Homelessness model, and how we can even start making a big difference in people's lives immediately. So to start with, we need some things, okay? We need to start out with reliable funding. Now, given the success of OnPassive, and by extension, the founders community, obviously, funding for projects through Old Blessed will not be an issue. That's because we've got, a ton of big-hearted founders that are going to be volunteering and provide that funding through the abundance that OnPassive passes to them. So all we need to do is plug them in. As an example, and this is a lowball example, if you take 20,000 founders donating $50 a month, that'll give us $1 million worth of funding every month. So I believe that's a doable start. Now, once we have the funding, we need to develop a master plan. All right, we live in a very smart age, so what we're building needs to be pretty doggone smart. It needs to be comprehensive, short and long term. It needs to have big picture plans for buildings and power grids and portable water supplies and railroads and all sorts of stuff. Not railroads, just roads, and well, maybe railroads and all sorts of stuff. And it needs to be flexible so that we can change and grow as the project grows. Now, we're going to need people that can do all this type of work, and they're going to be key to our success. And one of the ways that we can probably amplify that is the use of 3D modeling. It makes it possible to devise master plans for homes and sewage and water, electrical systems, integrated transport, all sorts of stuff, including, the more digital stuff like Wi-Fi hotspots and fiber optic grids and sensors and stuff like that. Now, ways to do this, right? Ways to get into making the master plan is to begin with creating an oversight committee that we need to develop the scopes of work that we're going to have and request for proposals. Now, these tools are going to be helping us to open up the competition between contractors and planners and developers and stuff, and to remove the bias from the process, right? It's got to be fair, got to be equitable, got to be right. We are the correction to the corruption, after all, right? OnPassive is. And this is going to need to be done for each major component of the project, unless we hire a general manager, right, to oversee the entire thing, in which case it's going to be his or her responsibility to get qualified people in. Obviously, we're going to also need to choose a location, and we're going to need to get the land. Now, the land could be purchased outright. I mean, if we go to deserts or even undeveloped or uninhabited lands, and I talk very broadly because we're going to be global, right? We can even use reclaimed land from swamps or landfills, almost anything. It can also be donated, right? I mean, believe it or not, you have philanthropists and corporations and even governments that are willing to donate land to a worthy cause. And if anything was worthy, we certainly are, or blessed will be. And we probably want to stay away from toxic sites that may require soil or groundwater remediation. You don't want to be bulldozing buildings or doing anything that's going to require big money to make it ready for use. And this would include maybe some long drawn out legal battles for some reason. So ways to get the land include soliciting those donations, online maps, local government mapping systems, local land listings, visiting firsthand, contracting builders and consultants, real estate agents, and developers. So, I mean, anything goes. If you find a piece of land, then we start working on what we need to do to get it. Now, we also need to have reliable power supply, right? Preferably a completely done green power supply, if possible, which is, produced through renewable or sustainable sources that carry either a low or even zero carbon footprints. That would be optimum for us. And we want to keep waste as close to zero as possible. This means we should be looking at solar thermal and electrical power, wind power, magnetics, geothermal, and of course, new and emerging technologies like the ones that you're going to hear about from Bob and Sean here in a few minutes. Now, along with power, we're going to need a reliable water supply. Because, I mean, as we know, potable water can be gotten from any number of sources or even used in combination of sources. But whatever the source, it's got to be reliable because we got to have water. We can use groundwater, lakes, rivers, all that, they're used, and they usually are used. As a matter of fact, 78% of community water systems in the US rather, use groundwater as their water source, right? But as technology has gotten better, more advanced systems have become available, and a lot of them are eco-friendly components to even the largest of products. And I'm hoping that we're going to use those. We're going to hear about some of those tonight. Now, ways to establish water supplies include contacting municipal water planners near wherever we want to build, contacting companies that specialize in developing water systems, contractors that even drill, old school water producing wells, rainwater reclamation, and green companies. I love that especially work with water recycling, purification, and or production, which is not in a conventional sense. And all of these things need to be kept in mind when we're talking to anybody that is a potential participant in the Oblast homelessness project. Now, moving forward, there are a few things that we want to keep in touch with mentally, as we're moving forward, and things like connectivity, obviously in a digital world, especially with IoT and all that, transportation and employment. I've got general information about that, Chris, that I'm going to send you with everything that I'm talking about tonight so that you'll have it all. So yeah, ask Chris about that, and also about the participation recommendation form that he's got, because we can mold that to whatever we want. Please also keep in mind the information outlined here is all a work in progress. This is brainstorming, and this is just a good start to it to open up our minds so that we can see how we can begin to lay the foundation of what we are calling, or for right now, I'm just calling it the Oblast Homelessness Project. And now, what you all have been waiting for, and I am so proud to introduce to you a man that will share some very exciting things with us about a company that can plug right into this project in many areas with cutting edge eco-friendly products and technologies. When Mr. Mufara talked yesterday about literally changing the world, right? He pointed at a big picture of the world from space saying, look at the blue and green. He's talking about changing the blue and green. We're going to do that through companies and technologies like those that you're going to hear about tonight. The company's name is We World Energy. The speaker I'm introducing is Mr. Robert Graves, and he is the We World Energy Director for Africa. He's a native of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He got his bachelor's in accounting, economics, and finance from Penn State. He's also a co-founder of Complex Surface Alloying, which is a company pioneering new metals material and science technology. It's based out of Florida, so he's pretty close to Ash. He started working in Africa in 2005. He's traveled to 7 of those countries. He currently lives in Dakar, Senegal, and he works directly with Mr. Sean Wintraub, the CEO and founder of We World Energy. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Graves to our platform. Welcome, Mr. Graves.
Bob, you got to unmute yourself, buddy.
He's unmuted, but the volume is too low. Can you raise your volume?
Is that any better?
Perfect.
Very good.
Okay, hold on. I gotta get my volume up. Okay, can you hear me now? Is it good?
Yes.
Okay, great. Jeffrey, thank you for that wonderful intro and overview of Unpassive and the intro to myself and our company, We World Energy. And I see that Mr. Sean Wintraub has joined us, and following my brief overview. And what I really want to do is give you the backdrop and the heart of the company, because this is not business as usual. In fact, I've been a co-founder since January 2019, and I have watched this path the entire time. And the parallels that I see between Ash and Sean are just stunning. They're both an unstoppable force, and I believe if these two forces come together, the world will change at a pace that will turn heads. Anyway, let me give you the backstory on We World Energy. I met Sean about 7-8 years ago, And we were working with an energy company that didn't quite come through. We spent a lot of time and effort. And then after that failed, because if you've ever worked in the alternative energy industry, it's very, very difficult to find real breakthrough type technologies. So anyway, after that first effort failed, Sean came back to me with a technology that blew me away. So we started exploring it, and it's absolutely real. And that was about 5 years ago. So Ash has been at this, for 3.5, 4 years. We've been at this 5 or 6 years. So our paths are very similar. And actually, let me give you the backstory. Before I go into the technologies, which I'm just going to touch on briefly, you can go to our website, weworldenergy.com. And our website is being revised currently because we are going to be uplisting to the NASDAQ in the very near future. And they're preparing to alter the site to accommodate that transition, as We World Resources will morph into a NASDAQ traded company with some of our technologies. So you can visit the site, but understand that it's a work in progress right now. Okay, the backstory. We World Energy is here because of Mr. Sean Winthrop, solely, well, and Mr. Ken Surate, I'll say, who was Sean's soul brother and mentor. Mr. Ken Surate started a water nonprofit called Water is Life, waterislife.com. In fact, there's a great 16-minute TED Talk video where Ken shares his vision for changing the world by addressing that. Actually, you talk homelessness, terrible, famine, terrible. But if you look at the state of the world and you just triage it, more people are dying and suffering from tainted and unclean water and/or lack of water than everything else combined. War, malaria, heart disease, cancer, COVID, everything combined doesn't begin to touch. In fact, during the time we're on the seminar here, a child is dying every 5 to 10 seconds, and 1/2 of all the hospital beds in the world are filled with people suffering from preventable waterborne illnesses. So this is what has lit Sean's fire, and how he came to be here. For well over 20 years, he's had a compassionate humanitarian heart. He led an effort in Africa associated with the United Nations called the Malaria Pushback Program. They delivered millions of packages of in-field diagnostic and treatment kits for malaria. But then, as Sean was holding dying children in his arms, he came to understand the magnitude of the water problem in the world. It breaks my heart. So Sean changed his focus from malaria to water. That's where he met Mr. Ken Surate, the founder of Water is Life. And for the past 12, 15 years, Sean has been the global operations director for Water is Life. He's traveled to over 70 countries. They're there in Mexico during the earthquake. Wherever there's a catastrophic, Water is Life is there. And they're constantly working in Haiti and all around the world to bring clean water. And heretofore, they were only working with water filtration systems. That was the state of the art that was available. There's nothing that's practical and workable for these types of applications that existed. Well, fate and divine hand moved, and basically one of the most brilliant minds on the planet, who was currently in Southern California, moved to Costa Rica. Sean is from Toronto, Canada, but he's been living in Costa Rica almost 20 years now. And this individual moved to Costa Rica. And this man, since he's been 16 years old, has wanted to change the planet. And he actually devised technologies for food, energy, and water. And we're focusing on his water technology here. Now, I want to make a distinction. In fact, I went on the line to just do a little research before this call, and I typed in atmospheric water harvesting technology. Everything with a capital E, everything out there at this time is all based upon dehumidification technology. Just like I come from Philadelphia, we have basements. When it gets to be 85, 95 degrees outside, the basement, 65, 68 degrees, it's like a sponge. So we put a dehumidifier down there to pull the moisture out of the air. This is the technology every other product on the market is using. It's not a solution for the world water crisis. It's extremely expensive, $30,000, $40,000 for a unit that'll produce 900 liters a day, and you better have $800 of electricity every month just to run it. And most importantly, it will only work in atmospheric relative humidity of 35% or better, which precludes it from many applications. Sean knows of units sitting in Chile that are rusting away because the atmospheric relative humidity is not high enough. Well, this brilliant inventor that Sean met in Costa Rica has developed a water harvesting technology that is just astounding. First of all, it's extremely affordable, and it is not dehumidification technology, it's what we call deposition. Using only a 200 kilowatt solar panel, he drives a cold box to negative 45 degrees centigrade. When the atmospheric water vapor enters the box, it deposes, it freezes onto the surface. We collect the water, and what we have is what's called glacier pure water, because when water reaches that extreme cold temperature, no contaminating molecules can cling to the water. So we have the device, this unit, this water harvester unit is the go-to technology to place in every school, every mosque, every temple, every government building, everywhere they need water, we're going to donate them. The motto of We World Energy is we sell to those who want it to give to those who need it. In fact, Chris, I wanted to address something briefly. You talked about bringing companies together. We World Energy has developed an energy savings program for the corporate world. In fact, I want to talk to Ash about this at some point. We have a generator, which you will see on our website, called the Magnetron. It does not use any fuel, no diesel, no petrol, no wind, no sun, no heat, nothing. It runs by itself continuously 24 hours a day. We have an equipment lease program. Basically, companies, they fill out a 24-hour approval application, one page. They give us a utility bill. We put the generators on site. We maintain them. We customer service everything. They pay us $5,000 a month, let's say, for a 100 kilowatt generator. If you do the math, a 100 kilowatt generator produces 72,000 kilowatts per month, 100 kilowatts per hour for a month. If you divide that by $5,000, they're paying under 7 cents per kilowatt hour. And every company who participates gets a water harvester donated to the location of their choice in the world. We put their logo on it. They're helping to support the We World and the world water crisis by participating in our energy saving program. Okay. Now it's going to take us 3-5 years. In fact, this is part of why I've been so excited about On Passive. I have been watching this development. In fact, that's why my name is We Clean Water Team. I want to hopefully get in front of Mr. Mufareh and show him that we truly have the solution to end job number one on the planet, which is clean water for all. We truly do. Now, most importantly, we have the in-the-moment solution. I'm going to end this briefly here, but basically we have what I call the silver bullet in-the-moment solution to save lives and halt the suffering. We have a straw, a drinking straw, that is like no other straw on the planet. I'll give you the website. It has 3 microfilters like every other straw. It has a charcoal filter like every other straw, but it has 2 pure dissimilar metals that run through the barrel of the straw that take out everything, heavy metals, chemicals, salmonella. This straw is what's used. You'll see many pictures with Sean around the world with the children holding up the straws. This straw is how we save lives in the moment, because they can drink 1,000 liters of water through this straw and not suffer the ill effects. So this straw is our in the moment. And I have been brainstorming on a program because I live in Dakar, Senegal here. Many people, whatever the cost of the On Passive is going to be, they can't afford it. They work 6 days a week, and basically they don't even earn enough to cover their rent. It's very bad. So I want to bring this straw to Africa and elsewhere and give people an opportunity to get the straw, go into a matrix, earn the money to segue and feed into On Passive. And last thing I'll mention, all of our equipment, which will be placed around the world, all of our water harvesters, all of our energy technology, they have a telemetry tracking app inside. All that information is collected. So We World is effectively a decentralized utility. We take all that information and we use that to support a true valued digital currency called the We Coin. The We Coin is finished, it's sitting in the garage. The coin developers say you have a Lamborghini with the keys in the ignition ready to go. This is another thing. One idea I have is whenever somebody gets a straw, we donate a straw that has a serial number. They use that serial number to go to an internet cafe, they log in, and we enter them into the digital age with a deposit of We Coin. This is a mechanism. There's so many things that we can go through. Anyway, much to talk about. I know we'll have many more meetings, but I want to turn the floor over to Mr. Sean Wintrop so he can give you his firsthand understanding. And by the way, Sean has been awarded diplomatic status for the work that he's done over these many, many years. He's a serious world mover and shaker and changer. Anyway, if you want to bring in Sean, I'd be happy to let him take the floor and wow you.
Wow, Bob, he is on. He just got to unmute himself. Blown away. Sean, the floor is yours.
Thank you again, Jeffrey, Bob, everyone. It is an honor and a privilege to meet, to connect with everyone. And Bob, thank you so much for sharing the background and the scope of everything we've done and we've been so passionate about, and what drives us. But I really wanted to start by saying that I believe truly in life, in all of our experiences, there's a lot of projects, there's a lot of technologies, there's a lot of opportunities, as we all know, but truly the ones where we're aligned and we get to work with like-minded people, like-hearted people, everyone on the same mission, everybody aligned, it makes it a great joy and makes it a success, right? It's the people together that make the project happen, that make it such a joy to do. And that's why it's such an honor to align with all of you at Obless on Passive. So I send my blessings to everybody at Obless. And we are very, very excited and honored to be a part of supporting, synergizing, aligning, bringing all the resources, everything we can to the extraordinary projects you're doing, as you had mentioned at the beginning, and everything that we're doing. So we look at this truly as a way that everybody aligns together, and that way we will be extraordinarily successful, both technologically and most importantly, win-win. Everybody benefits, everybody prospers, and everyone gets to be a part of what I always say is the greatest feeling in the world, is to help do things that we believe in, do things that we love to do, and everybody prospers by being a part of the process. So that being said, again, I really hope to meet everybody and all of us interconnected. We say there's no borders, right, with energy or water or global business these days. And it truly is a worldwide global initiative where we work with everyone, every system, every solution, everything in our portfolio to help solve the crisis and get the systems out there. I wanted to take the opportunity as well, and thank you again for the opportunity to just to share and touch on what Bob so eloquently explained, our initiative, our background, and of course, most importantly, the program, and how I believe this will be a very powerful synergy, how I believe this will be extraordinarily aligned with all of the values, all of the missions, all of the goals that we all want to complete together for humanity. So we have an expression or a phrase we've often used. Jeffrey, we had an extraordinary call the other day, but we were able to share, we don't call these necessarily technologies, although they are. We don't just call them solutions or breakthrough systems, although they are. The inventor called it a gift to humanity. And the reason why is that we are essentially created a hybrid. So I do come from the foundation background. It's been the joy of my life and the honor of my life to be out there and serve and be with many, many kids and communities and schools and villages around the world. And people have always said, that's extraordinary. That's so selfless. That's such a beautiful sacrifice to go out there and be in these communities and help and give and do and donate and dedicate your life to doing so. And I've always said, and we have this phrase in the foundation or NGO world where it's actually a beautiful selfish thing, because at the end of the day, the greatest feeling and the greatest gift comes to us by being out there and helping and giving and doing and serving. So the old adage that we can all relate to is giving is living. And the more we do and the more we give, it comes back. And so that being said, as our background, what we have done and what came together for us as we essentially being water and energy. So we're world energy, but we're water and energy. We're a we. So this is all about all of us here together on the call. It's not about any one technology. It's not about a business. It's not about a product. It's not about any one of us. It's, as Bob said so powerfully, it's a collective effort. It's we, and this is considered a global movement. It's a global initiative. I presented with great honor at the United Nations World Global COP Conference, and I made a declaration to the world through the United Nations conference. Even though I had spent the formative 15 years of my life, working diligently and passionately to get out some of our systems, our technologies, our products, projects, implemented into the different communities in need, that we were going to solve the world's water crisis, not just help, not just make some implementations, but solve the crisis. And we had the ability and the resources, we had the plan, we had the program to do so. And that is, again, because of the portfolio of technologies and the program that creates great amount of resources. And we always say that, money or wealth is just a form of energy anyway. So we're in the energy, we're sharing positive, clean, profitable, loving energy, throughout the globe. And yes, it generates a great revenue or margins and commissions and royalties for life for everyone here together on this call that, may be involved or feels in their heart they want to be involved and align on this initiative. So that way we can create more revenues to donate and implement to those who need it. So truly a win-win. This is a great win-win. Bob mentioned it. All the businesses, every building, every business, every home, every corporation, every property on this planet can be run and operate autonomously, off grid, or stay connected to the grid. But essentially we can bring efficient, clean, green energy to every building, every home, every business on the planet. And as a natural mechanism of the program, everybody is benefiting, right? Money saved is money earned. For the businesses and the building owners or homeowners, every one of us here together aligned on this team and initiative, of course, generate and are remunerated and make a wonderful margin and earnings and commission, as deservedly so, on each customer, on each building, on each business. And then the most wonderful part that I love and I always refer to is we go to bed at night, so to speak, knowing that because we brought the clean energy to businesses or buildings or clients that we have, it results in, it backs, it supports that we can send a water system, one of our straws, as Bob mentioned, one of our desalinization filters, one of our water harvest systems, any one of the 4 technologies in our portfolio to communities, families, schools, and kids around the world. And that way, everyone is invited. Everyone is a part of these donations. It's all transparent on the blockchain, so we can follow together. We can all hand in hand watch live time with the UN, with the WHO. Most importantly, everyone in the world can watch literally as we get the solutions and the systems out to all the communities and people and schools and families and kids in need. And just like a digital monitoring now, of course, everything's on the blockchain. we have a live time telemetry and live time clock. We can see how many green kilowatts and megawatts of electricity we are putting into the world, and how many liters of life-saving, life-giving water, not life-taking water, unfortunately, in so many cases, we're getting out to all the communities. So we have a map of the globe. I'll be happy, very honored to share with everyone. We have identified over years of work around the globe, each community, each area in need, with different red dots of different sizing correlated to the community populations. And we will literally, as a movement, live time, be interconnecting and coordinating the rollout, the implementation, the historic game change as we shift or implement the green energy solution, the most efficient green energy system and technology available today. And again, one for one, that relates into us getting out our water systems and solutions to each community. So we all benefit in knowing that the project's complete, lives are saved, lives are empowered, green energy is out there. Everybody makes a, an abundant blessing of reward and earnings on the project. And at the end of the day, it's the people and the around the globe that will be getting water where desperately needed. As Bob mentioned, of course, that is the motor or the driver. It is, the number one cause of death in the world. Can you imagine, on a planet full of water and our bodies full of water? But what we've done is we've created this essentially hybrid system where, yes, it's a global initiative, and yes, it's a global movement to solve the crisis, but make no mistake about it, it is a very lucrative commercial structure and commercial model whereby, again, everybody benefits in the system. So apologize for the long dissertation, but I hope that just helps give a background and a scope of how powerful the entire mechanism and model is, how much importance and impact and breakthrough this will have to the planet. And most importantly, of course, what that means to all of us together in terms of our role, our contribution, and of course, the remunerations. I always say that, people care about the planet and, usually want to do the right thing. And of course, would rather be green and go with efficient solutions as long as it doesn't, cost them more. So in this model, we always say, again, it's a win-win, an offer no one can refuse, because every business and building benefit, every community and child and family receive what they need in terms of a life-giving solution, and everybody prospers and benefits. I think the timing and opportunity is meant to be such a powerful synergy, because just like on passive, absolutely extraordinary what you've all built and everyone's a part of. I'm honored to be a founding member as well with Bob for some time. Jeffrey and Ash, just extraordinary what's been built. So again, there's many systems, many extraordinary products and projects that you're working with, but because of the nature and the alliance of our system, it's just a perfect fit, perfect timing. We are literally implementing, we are literally starting and coming to the market right now. So this is, as they say, historic timing. I think it is extraordinarily powerful timing. And I know that just between this group and the On-Passive network, the On-Passive global team and family that's been aligned and structured here, we could single-handedly together between On-Passive and the OBLES and we be able to implement. And once this rolls, and of course, a few customers and many others come on board, of course, it goes literally viral. And I believe we will be able to declare for the first time in history that we have not helped, we have not just made an impact or made a difference. You know, every sip of water and every life saved is extremely meaningful, but we are going to literally solve the world's water crisis as we declared. And just so you know, we do have full attestation, full support from the UN, from the WHO, multitude of corporations, different NGOs that, you know, I've been very proud and honored to work with over the years that have aligned with us in Water is Life. And again, that's just because this is about us as a planet. This is about humanity. This is about we, as all of us together as we, in getting this done.
Wow. Thank you, Sean. Wow.
John and Bob, number one, I appreciate you, especially Jeffrey, for getting in touch. I do have one quick question, just out of curiosity. I've done
Yes,
some
please, of
research.
course.
Mr. Sean, is it possible to convert salt water to fresh water? Do you have any ideas for that? And is it a real big system, or is it, I know that some facilities have it, but it's like a major plant. Do you have any ideas on that? Because I know a lot of our PNG, Australia, New Zealand, they're surrounded with ocean water. A lot of them depend on rainwater. And I know you just told me some phenomenal things that definitely is going to help them. But what about converting ocean water to fresh drinking water?
Absolutely. Thank you for bringing that up. And that is a very, very powerful point, because, of course, it's just interesting to know that in all of our planet and all of this beautiful earth, as you may know, only imagine 3% is actually fresh water on the planet, and over 20 million liters are available every day for every human on this planet. 7.7 billion of us, going up to 10 billion by 2030, but it's in Mother Earth's atmosphere. So what's so extraordinary, again, is that all the water that we need as humanity, God put there, 4 billion years ago in our water cycle. But speaking about desalinization, you are absolutely correct. Conventionally, around the world, the technology that's been used is called RO, or reverse osmosis. Most of you are probably familiar. And yes, reverse osmosis has been, the prime or the industry worldwide standard for desalinization. But the problem has been that it is, large plants. They're costly to build, infrastructure. They require, as Bob touched on, they guzzle electricity. So they guzzle electricity. They're very big and expensive. The membranes, we've worked with many of them years ago, but the membranes go all the time. So you have constant changing of membranes. And at the end of the day, or so to speak, at the end of the systems process, you're getting what's called stripped water, right? You're actually you're stripping, yes, the contaminants and, any of the bacterias or viruses, but you're losing the natural minerals. That's a whole other discussion, kind of a deep discussion, because the world is divided. We don't get involved in that discussion, but the US military has a lot of reports, and there's a lot of people that say that actually reverse osmosis, stripped water, is not good for the health, and that over time it's actually adverse to people's health. But of course, it's being used so predominantly because it is the main technology. That's where we're, again, very blessed and very grateful and appreciative. And we understand the significance of our technologies. The fact that we do desalinate, we can desalinate at any size, as you had mentioned. So we can do commercial, industrial, city, state, municipal size plants accordingly, and desalinate millions of liters, an hour or a day, in those type of plants. Or we have a small system that again runs off of nominal electricity, so very, very low to nominal electricity with some solar panels. We don't even need to use one of our magnetic systems because it's too much electricity, right? It only requires some small panels. And we can desalinate to pure potable water. Some of our technologies are gravitational centrifuge and graphene. So it's unique technology, multi-patented technology. And yes, it is a solution anywhere on the planet to desalinate efficiently, nominal electricity, no expensive membranes to change, and the water comes out pure potable in its natural state with the important array of minerals. We also are the first ones in the world history. I joke, complimentary and very fondly so with the inventor, but Bob had mentioned we have the world's most encompassing filter. We have the most encompassing straw. That literally is the most encompassing filter in the world. But you're actually hearing this, one of the first to hear this. So I'm, I feel very kin in a special chemistry. And I know we're going to do a lot of wonderful works together with Obless and On Passive and we. But we have developed, and it is now commercially viable, a desalinization straw. So we call it our essentially the new version or the desalinization straw. The first straw we have, which we have put over 7 million straws into 7 million children's and people's hands and mouths to guarantee and secure them with life-giving pure water. But imagine we have now developed, commercialized, finalized a desalinization straw that requires no outside source of electricity. There are no filters to change. There's a little cartridge that you just, so to speak, knock out the little salt collection. And we are also bringing that to the world, but I would love to organize something with all of you and Jeffrey's extraordinary leadership and Ash's support, but we could bring it to the world together. We could have the Obless and On Passive group help us bring that out. So the answer, sorry for the long dissertation again, but I just want to give an important background and distinction on technology and what we have in our portfolio. So we can desalinate large scale, medium scale size, individual size, and in a straw, which is absolutely extraordinary. So being fully encompassed in water, the W part of our we, yes, we have the world's most extraordinary breakthrough solutions and systems and technologies in water harvest, atmospheric water harvest generation and capture from the atmosphere, filtration, desalinization, and the straws, both in water and desalinization. And then on our E, in the energy part, the E of the we have, as Jeffrey may have mentioned, and we had an incredible call with him the other day where I was able to share a bit about our portfolio, and Bob touched on very eloquently. But on our energy side of things, we have 4 extraordinary technologies that we use to bring to the world and the businesses and homes and buildings, both breakthrough wind power, wind generators, wind turbine generators, magnetic systems that use no fuel, no solar panels, no wind, no gas, no diesel, purely magnetic. And we also have our hydro kinetic and magnetic system, which is a container. If you can imagine just for a moment, a small conventional 20-foot container, and has water inside with the actual generator turbine system, also magnetic driven, but the water does not need to be replaced. So it's a self-enclosed continuous loop water system, all within a 20-foot container that is producing and outputting a consistent 99% efficient clean electricity 24/7 anywhere on the planet. So that's a little bit about our we portfolio and scope of technologies, and a little bit why we are using this program, and why it has come to us that this will be the most efficient, impactful, beneficial, and profitable way to get all of these technologies in water and energy out to humanity.
Wow, Sean, let me tell you, right now we have quite a few people from all over the world on this webinar here. And I know there's quite a few people that live in countries where they're having, and then my phone is blowing up right now saying, wow, 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 because I know many countries, even the state of Michigan, we have a Flint water crisis, can use your help. My congratulations on what you have done, and Bob and Jeffrey. I don't even know right now. I'm kind of numb thinking what the possibilities are of with your technologies and on Passives Bless, where we could take this. And I'm really, really excited about this.
I love your thinking, Chris. I love your think. That's exactly it. I was saying, right, with all of us together, aligned with our mission and shared heart, and most importantly, network and technologies and resources, we are going to do it. We always say, remember Nike, just do it.
Just do it.
We say we are doing it.
There you go. Wow.
Hey, Sean, Chris. Sean, can I ask you a question? For those of you that don't know, I used to work and used to manage or help manage a renewable energy company. We used to do the solar, the electric and the turbines and the solar thermal and stuff. But I was very, very interested in reading about your turbine technology and Betts law, and how you crush that law and the percentages you're getting out of the wind energy, and how your turbines, because of the size and because of how they are built with the new blade, how they're not a menace to the environment. Can you tell our folks here a little about that, please?
Yes, my pleasure, my honor. Thank you, Jeffrey. You're extremely astute. I was really, touched by it on our other call, and then again tonight, how knowledgeable you are, and how versed you are, in your experience. When you're asking great questions, just your understanding of why our technologies, of course, are distinct and impactful, and regarded as breakthroughs in so many aspects. But yeah, excellent question, and thank you. On the wind turbine in particular, as you mentioned, as many of you know, and we're all familiar with, conventionally, historically, right, through all of time, the wind turbines, and what we're all familiar with in the world, is what we call, with respectfully, three propeller turbines, right? They're the three propeller blades. We call them the dinosaurs, or Bob is a little more eloquent and he calls them legacy turbines. And of course, as we all know, and I'm very familiar, we've worked in conjunction, we've worked very closely, with the great folks and the brilliant folks at GE and Siemens and all the big players around the world. But what's happened is, all of those turbines, a little bit like the reverse osmosis comparison to the technology, they all, of course, have a great, footprint, a large size. They're big, they're expensive. You've got infrastructure, logistics to put in place, and they are limited to Betts law. And Betts law, as you know, just like solar, by the way, you get a 28 to 34% maximum efficiency output. And that's, not a commercial number. That is a scientific law, as well as, of course, the commercial law. So when any of the wind turbines that are three propeller blades, that is the maximum, efficiencies and outputs you can get. Our wind turbine, and again, I always am honored to give credit to the, brilliant inventors and scientists and engineers and physicists that, it's been an honor for me to work with. I learn every day. I'm not the smart gentleman who's invented these by any means. I'm not the scientist. I'm just feel very blessed that I've been able to, work on the commercial part. As you all know by now, as I've shared, I come to this from the commercial program and the initiative, and helping just bring the best of the best technologies to the world. So each technology we work with that are under our WE umbrella and our WE global initiative, all come from distinct, extraordinary people that I know you'll have the pleasure in meeting, and we'll all be working together very intimately as we move on this mission. But the fan turbine, for example, or our vertical access turbines, what they've done is the surface area is 1,800 times more. So instead of those 3 blades, it's now a circle. So you picture, Jeffrey will share with you, some of the photos and brochures and videos and, all the technical information if anyone's so inclined or interested. But what's happened is now when there's a circle, we're able to capture 1,800 times more surface area, therefore capturing more torque, more wind space, and that correlates, of course, to the amount of output and the amount of efficiency that comes. So we have a very small, lightweight, no vibration, no reverberation, no sound blades that are made out of a breakthrough, basically, essentially a special composite material. The industry went to carbon fiber, which is very light and strong. Aviation, cars, everyone went to carbon fiber, but this is even beyond because it's a composite material. In fact, you'll all appreciate this. The same material that we use to make the blades for our wind turbine technology of all sizes is being used now in drones. The US cycling team or the US racing team's bikes. So it's the material itself is a game changer because it's extraordinarily strong and extraordinarily light. So what happens is we have a coreless axial flux magnetic generator. So we're able to start up at low wind speeds and operate at high wind speeds, even up to a hurricane. So where all the other turbines in the world unfortunately shut down or don't produce in low wind speeds, or you have your, Betz law limitations, and you have a lot of, gears to fix and maintain. We have imagine again, an axial flux, like a coreless generator. So a magnetic generator that's light, that has no inner guts or workings or oilings or gears to deal with, and a circular fan. So it's actually a fan configuration, and it picks up and starts spinning and outputting clean electricity in just a little breeze in a very, very low wind speed area. Of course, the higher up anything is, of course, the more wind velocity is captured. And then it doesn't have any limits. So we're up at 64% to 95% output and efficiencies just based on certain base metrics of wind speed, which has never been done. So in our winter, just like our magnetic sector, just like our water harvest sector, like our desalinization sector, we have scientifically, technologically, and of course now commercially been able to make the breakthrough, been able to literally, if you will, if I may use the word, revolutionize that particular sector industry, again, because of the efficiencies and the outputs of the unit. And a lot of this has all been related to new materials, incredible new materials that are available in the world. And of course, the great strides and the great leaps that are being made with technology. So, and we also, we don't believe as well that, yes, there's extraordinary systems being developed every day. And I say, God bless everybody who's working in water or energy or technological space. We welcome, I think it's all fantastic. And there's a place for all great technologies, all products, all systems, that bring value or make an impact to humanity. We just happen to be working with our portfolio that we're proud to have. We're constantly bringing on new and best of the best technology. And the most important thing, again, is we're using all of our technology to provide incredible value, savings, and revenues for everyone involved in our program. And most importantly, again, going back to, we have a transparent one-for-one. Every system, every product, everything that we ever sell or lease or rent or put into the global market relates and correlates and supports a donation of a water solution to the families and communities in need. So I think that's a little bit of a differentiation as well on our program, our commercial model, as well as our technology. So sorry for the long explanation, but I hope that makes sense on the wind turbines, which was your good question.
Oh man, I am loving this stuff. And if I can just impose one more, we've got a lot of folks that really need to understand. You talked about breaking the laws for your your aerodynamics there, but you've got a water harvesting situation. You've got systems that operate far below normal thresholds of moisture in the atmosphere, down in single digits, I believe. And I mean, even the deserts are double digit. I mean, can you explain a little bit about that?
Oh, yes, thank you for another excellent question, which is essentially the perfect segue to just straight to the point, explaining the distinction of our system and technology, and how this relates to what's going on Mother Earth every day. A quick little adage, if I may, and I know you'll all appreciate this. And again, I really am honored. I want to introduce all the team and all the wonderful inventors and brilliant scientists that I've been blessed to work with and are part of our team. They'll be so delighted. I'm going to share with them that we've had this extraordinary conference, because what it means to inventors and people that have spent their life dedicated to developing these technologies, to know that there's a team and a group and a network out there like this, that all care about helping, that all want to be a part of collaborating. That's a major motor to them. So I always let them know that about the extraordinary potential and the relationship here. So thank you all for that and this support. On what we say, or the inventor has always said, is people said to him, we did presentations all over the world, and as you know, at the UN and various science forums and companies and corporations and governments and NGOs, and people would say, wow, that's amazing. That's extraordinary. That this is the way of the future. This is a breakthrough. This is the new way for the world. And Dr. Lang would laugh and he'd sort of smile and he'd say, well, this is actually nothing new. It's 4 billion years old. I just created a little box that represents and mimics Mother Earth's natural water cycle. And essentially what we're doing is, you said it exactly correct, dehumidification. So most of the systems, and I know a lot of the companies, and we've worked with them over the years as Water is Life. Remember, I've spent 20 years working with the best of the best technology. So it's not about one system or the other. We have just made a decision to work with the ones that are obviously the most efficient and can make the most impact. But what happens is, you need a 30 to 35% relative humidity. It's called a relative humidity at any given moment, in order for all the systems, as Bob touched on, to function and to work. And in most of the planet, depending, of course, what country and where you are, there's a grand majority of this beautiful planet that don't have a 35% relative humidity, on any given day in the atmosphere. Is the water vapor available? Yes, absolutely. Remember, there's 4 quadrillion trillion liters a day always sitting in the atmosphere. We've just been able to capture. So what we're doing is we're using deposition and not dehumidification. And the deposition allows the capturing of the water vapor that's always present, right? There's always the water vapor present, even if that relative humidity is not there. And Bob touched on it without getting too long-winded on the inner workings of the technology and boring everybody. But essentially what happens is, that's in the state of a gas, right? It's in the atmosphere as vapor. It's a gas. And our cold box, the machine, is an ice box. So it's just sitting there with a -40 temperature because of the phase change material. So we have a -40 temperature sitting there. What happens when you have a vapor gas and you have a cold box of -40? Well, the law of thermodynamics shows us and tells us that, of course, it moves very quickly. The vapor, so to speak, flies over and gets drawn onto or harvested, or as we say, drawn onto the cold box. And then, of course, it's changed into almost like a frost, if you will, like a frost or ice. Very familiar being from Canada. Many of you maybe from northern part of the US or Europe, with frost. And then, of course, that goes to water. So we're able to harvest water from the atmosphere anywhere on the planet, 24/7 on any day, through this deposition process, using extremely nominal electricity, which is very important, right? Because a lot of these, it was built to go out to the communities. It was built to go out to villages in Africa and India and in Asia. A lot of them don't even have electricity. So the idea is that it can capture from the atmosphere the vapor through deposition, not an electricity guzzling dehumidification that are expensive and, again, only work in 35% plus relative humidity. And so that's the nature. And again, these were designed, of course, commercially to go everywhere in the world. But remember, we made these, and our idea with this from the beginning was this was our gift to humanity. So yes, of course, they are for sale, and we have large groups or commercial orders. But for me, from my heart, commercially and personally, these are one of the technologies we just like to donate and give to the schools and families and kids in need, based upon the very lucrative green energy and clean energy program we have. So that when we say a 1-to-1, and then Bob did such an extraordinary job as always. We call him the commander, by the way, but are we Commander Bob? But what we do, I hope you'll all appreciate it, but the idea is that every time we donate a water harvest system, we're going to have the logo of where it was derived from. So let's say it was Oh Bless, or Peter or Lynn, whoever has helped get that client or one of their signups for the energy program. Imagine that company or that business, without spending $1 of their own, gets their name proudly emblazoned on the water machine, and then it goes out to the communities or the schools and the kids. Of course, we have the We logo on there, but we have the company's logo on there, and they can say, and they can know in their hearts that they've brought on something to give themselves energy savings, green energy, but they've supported the We initiative. And now there's a school or village in the world where all the kids and everyone are drinking pure, safe water because of their, so to speak, their support and their work. And then what we do is we invite representatives from the company or the organization to join us when we go out there and give the gift of life. When we're there in the community, anywhere, India, Philippines, anywhere in the world. And not everyone can make it, but we offer that experience because those have been the greatest experiences of my life. When I've been out there in the communities and the villages with the kids and the schools, bringing them solutions, bringing them love, light, pure life-saving water. So that's sort of the final piece, as Bob always says, where the rubber meets the road, where it all happens. Because as we know, many times there's great initiatives, and God bless all the, foundations and NGOs and programs out there. And some people donate or give money from their heart, and it's beautiful. But there is nothing more rewarding to me, at least, than I know that many, many, many people I've worked with, whether they're high school students or university students or retirees, that have just said, this is the greatest experience. So we're constantly giving the water solutions out to the communities around the world. And on any day, on any week, anyone can join us and come out there, hands on, hearts on, while we're there, delivering and giving. And then, of course, as you know, the power of social media these days, as On Passive is so extraordinary, but we will film. And of course, we can have live videos and live On Passive, oh bless, videos. Oh, here we are in Mexico, in this village, this school with 2,000 kids have received the water machine, or straws, or desalinization. Again, whatever technology we best feel to implement gets to the kids, gets to the communities. And again, the logo is emblazoned on there from Oh Bless or On Passive, or the company or the individual that helped. We do the program anyways. I mean, we're working 24/7 around the globe bringing these out there, but we cherish when our associates, our channel partners, our brothers around the world, so to speak, come and join us on the trips, when we're out there delivering them. So again, sorry to go back to the program and kind of recapping and encapsulating that, but now you understand a little more about we have great technologies, but like the Spider-Man movie, I always love the line, with great power comes great responsibility. And we're not just using the technologies, for extraordinary revenues, but everything has to be related and backed to the giving and solving the water crisis, while everybody makes a wonderful profit along the way.
John, you got my brain completely going in circles right now. I do have a question, and then I know Peter Shore and Marty would like to ask you something, and we do have hands up. I know you're a busy guy. Can I ask you a real quick question here? How many straws can you produce, well, let's say in a month's time, of your wonderful straws?
Oh, I love that question. That's a great question. We produce them, just to let you know, in Canada. My partner and longtime friend, who's the inventor, he's in his early 80s now. He's an incredible gentleman with a huge, huge heart for humanity. That's why we've been working so closely together for many years. But we own our own factory with our own machinery. Just to let you know, it's kind of interesting. Quick story. We sent our technology, just so you know, to China and to India, and we offered to pay them to reverse engineer it. I said, please reverse engineer this. If you can recreate this, we will, give you an order of millions of units as a contract manufacturer. They were not able to do so. So we're proudly able to announce and declare that every piece, every component inside is from the US or Canada or Europe, and it is manufactured proudly 100% in Canada. And nothing against, but as the inventor, my friend, says, this is people's lives at stake, right? This is not about cutting corners and making us something for $2. This is people's life at stake. Every sip is life or death. So that's why every unit is impeccably done. It's overseen, quality control, double checked, and everything is only done at our factory in Canada. We can do about 1 million straws a month, current capacity from the plant.
That's what I was looking for, Sean. Man, between the CEO, Ash Mafara, and you, I think you guys are going to have pretty interesting conversations. We make fun of Ash. We call him, crazy like a fox. I think you guys are going to be really, really excited and what you have to talk about. But Peter, sure, you go right ahead with your question, and Marty, you're up next.
Thank you, Sean, and thank you, Bob, for being here, and for Jeffrey to introduce you to OnPassive and Obless. We appreciate you. What a wonderful information. Two of the most needs in the world, the electricity and water. Of course, this is amazing.
Exactly.
Yes, I do. This is wonderful how you bring them both together, and doing an amazing job. Thank you for that. And I do have a questions. You mentioned that there is a cartilage or something in the straw that need to be changed. How often does it need to be changed on those straws?
Okay, great question, and I'm very happy to inform or let you know there is nothing that needs to be changed. There's on the conventional sip straw, which is of course non-salinated water, right? River water, lake water, puddle water, sewage water, tap water. There is no battery. There is no cartridges. Literally yourself or anyone, children in Africa, you just sip, sip, sip. There's nothing to do, nothing to clean, nothing to change. You just sip the water, and it is absolutely scientifically guaranteed that every drop of water that comes out is pure and potable. You use the straw. I saw someone had posted another good question about how long it lasts. You just use, sip, 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 enjoy safe, pure water, no chlorine, no fluoride, no arsenic, no other cancer-causing chemicals that's in our tap water, as we all know, is in our groundwater, unfortunately. And then when the filter stops, it will automatically stop itself. It appears like it's clogged. It just stops. So that way, not one sip will come out contaminated. And then, of course, you can just recycle the straw. It's meant to work for about 1,000 liters, which I believe is 260 gallons for all of our good American friends on the call. So it's about 260 gallons, 1,000 liters. You'll just sip, sip, sip the water. Nothing to do, nothing to worry about, nothing to change. And then we're able to, then it just stops and you get another one. Just to let you know, the straws come in different colors, which is kind of fun. The kids at the schools or different organizations or different companies, may like a certain color or want to color code it. And we also lithograph the straws. So for example, Obless or OnPassive can have your own straw. We provide the technology, and we're more than happy to lithograph and emblazon your own logo, your own organization on it. So it becomes the Obless straw, if you like.
This is music to my ears, Sean. One more question in regarding to electricity, if I may. Now you've mentioned the infrastructure for the current turbine fans, or the fans that create electricity right now, the three monster giants that you mentioned that we have currently in the system. Your system, the round fan, does not require any infrastructure. Did I understand that correctly?
Yes, no. It's important, I think, distinction. Of course, it requires a lot less space or infrastructure because of the light weight. But of course, like anything, each installation, has to have its appropriate supportive infrastructure. For example, we have a 5 kilowatt unit, that's like a residential unit. That, of course, has to be, mounted on either a rooftop or, a little pole or post. And our 1 megawatts, more of the commercial, grid type, PPA type of generator. Yes, it has to, like anything you're putting down, has to have its, it's grid tie and has to have its infrastructure. Again, it's extremely proportionately smaller and lighter and less space. So there's not a lot of infrastructure. There's not a lot to be done. But yeah, I think it's important and very safe and correct of us to say that any installation of any size generator needs to have its appropriate, supportive support in place.
Got it. Make
If that
complete
makes sense.
sense. But yeah, absolutely. Just like any, let's say a home generator be installed, you would do literally the same thing or something similar to it. So it's maintained to minimum versus the current condition.
That's exactly right. Whether it's solar panels or a backup diesel generator, everything has to have its proper, correct, electrical connection and, right setup. Because we are dealing with, a generator, it's serious, but all of our systems, of course, are light and easy and made to be extraordinarily small and efficient. So there's a lot less work to do. But yes, installing any generator anywhere is, important, serious business and has to be done correctly.
Thank you so much. Back to you, Chris or Marty.
Marty, go ahead. I can listen to this guy all night. Marty, go ahead.
Yeah, Sean, you blew me away, and so did your partner here. A question so I could try to wrap my head around this. When you're talking about air and relative humidity, if I said something like 50% relative humidity means the sponge is half full of water. Like the air is half full of water. Is that what that means?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Essentially, right. There's the vapor constantly in the atmosphere. And then, of course, at that time, the humidity, of course, that becomes the relative humidity. The other technologies we referred to were not able to harvest, so to speak, that water vapor because they're using a dehumidification system, right, which is only extracting that, low-hanging, so to speak, accessible humidity and running it through the machine because of the process I aforementioned, whereby the vapor gets attracted to the cold box. That's why we're not guzzling electricity to, dehumidify it. It's naturally flying or flowing to our machine because of the vapor gas law of thermodynamics going to the colder box, if that makes sense. So that's the difference with the vapor harvesting that we're doing as opposed to dehumidification.
Okay, yeah, so the vapor harvesting, you could take out water at a much lower humidity, correct? Or water in the
Yes.
air. Yeah, okay. The question,
That's correct.
This cold unit or this box, are you blowing fans over it to have it come in, or it's just happening from the cold?
Good question. There's the natural cold process inside, but we have panels. We have special panels that have some of that phase change material I mentioned. That is what we sort of call our key or the magic, if you will. All science, not magic, but the old phrase, that's the magic of the system, because the box is covered in phase change material panels. And that material is what attracts the vapor or gas and converts it into the frost and the ice. So it's if it was just sitting on its own, that mechanism wouldn't occur. But because of, and that the gentleman, by the way, has over 80 patents just on the phase change material, separate to the other mechanisms. But the idea is that the phase change material panels, or what we call the capture panels, is what allows that important process of vapor from the gas vapor to the solid. And what we always say is the larger the panel, the more vapor will collect. So when we do a 500 liter a day machine or a 2,000 liter a day machine, the only difference, everything's the same in the technology, is the size of the panels. The more surface area of the panel,
Yeah,
the more vapor will capture.
that makes sense. Okay, I was just wondering that's mind blowing. Absolutely cool. Cool stuff. I'm not gonna be able to sleep tonight, so thanks, Sean. Thank you very much.
I can't sleep either after talking to everyone. I'm excited too.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank
Don, I
you.
don't know how much time that you have with us here. I do have a few hands up. I know Jeffrey's got another question, but there's a couple ladies I would really like for them to answer questions, which is Gladys and Marcianne. Jeffrey, would you like the ladies to go first and then you could jump in? Sean, what kind of time you have here, Sean and Bob?
Oh, thank you so much. It's my pleasure. It's my honor. This is what drives me. This is what I live for. This is my passion. So I appreciate so much everyone's time. And as you could probably tell, and my wife jokes with me, I could talk all night about this, but this is what I love and live for. So I'm here, and as long as my battery will permit, I'm happy to, again, it's my passion to share just simply, what I know, what I've learned, and what we're all doing together. So for me, it's a great joy and a great honor just to share all of this with you. And again, I'm very grateful for all of your interest, all of your help, all of your support, and the relationship and the beautiful, beautiful project I consider we will do together.
Thank you, Sean. You just say when your battery's getting low, real quick, have you designed a refrigerator for our water filter system? I know I have a fridge with a filter. Have you designed that? I know you got to be thinking about it so we get clean water right out of our taps.
Oh yes, our same technology, our same core technology that's in the straws is available in all sorts of commercial applications. So it could be a home filter on the tap. We actually have a small mechanism of it in the water harvest system, even in the desal. So yes, the technology which we've proven to be the most encompassing filter in the world absolutely can be in any size or any application that anyone would like. We found that, of course, going with the straw makes it extraordinarily, easy. And as Bob touched on, it's like our immediate solution. It's our Band-Aid because there's nothing easier than most people around the world that we're trying to help and save, as we know, don't have running water or don't have some of the good problems. You may have seen our viral campaign with Water is Life. It was called First World Problems or Third World Problems, said by First World. It was really, really impactful and interesting. But yes, we can deliver or customize. We would be glad to customize for Obless or On Passive our actual technology, but encompass it in any type of product or delivery system that you like. And again, we're happy to private label it or have it be your product or your system, whatever way would serve you best.
Oh, thank you, Sean. If you don't mind, Miss Gladys, can you unmute yourself? And Marcina, I'm going to get you right after Gladys.
Thank you for having me, Chris. Thank you, Sean, and your buddy. You did a very great job. I'm so happy to hear about water tonight because it's one of the biggest problems that we have in Africa. And thank you very much for that conventional sip straw. How many diseases it's going to prevent if you don't have to wash it and you can use it for such a long time for a large amount of water. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I'm also very happy that you're about capturing water vapor 24/7. I'm so happy about that because being in Senegal, you know that we have rain about 6 months average of the year, a lot of rain. and about 6 months it's dry. And it's a shame that after a lot of rain, for those 6 months, still we have people suffering of hunger because they don't have ways of conserving water that they had so that they can continue using during the 6 dry months. Now, my question is, this technology that you have, can it be used in irrigation, especially in farming? Because places like Africa, agriculture is the backbone of the economy. Can this system be used for irrigation in farming, or it's only for drinking and washing?
Thank you so much, Gladys. That's a wonderful question. And my best to Senegal. You're there near Bob. I've spent a lot of time there. I lived in Bamako, Mali for many years. I'm very familiar, like most of the world, with, like you touched on, the rain cycle or the rainy seasons, and how it's either literally too much or too little. And that's why, again, the importance of having, the harvesting any day of the year, all year round, anywhere on the planet. And the answer is yes, absolutely. It could be used for agriculture. I concur with you fully that through most of the world, right, the agriculture is the base and the core of the economy, and all the development. What we do there, Gladys, is essentially the machine or the technology, right, the water harvest box, if you will, just does its job, right? It just does its processing of harvesting the vapor to water. It has a little like a tube, just like a little tube where the water comes out. So each application or each customer or, every agricultural community or farm owner or landowner absolutely could use it for, for their land, for their crops, as irrigation. So all the machine does is, it does its process, it's capturing the vapor, it's turning it to water, and it comes out the tube. So of course, a steady flow rate, it's a constant steady flow rate. So therefore, you could take the tube and you could just fill up a tank. I know in West Africa, they use Ken tanks a lot. We know them in North America a lot as the roto tanks, but essentially you could just literally have the water flow through the tube onto the land, right? Onto the crops right there. Or you could continuously be filling up a tank. So again, the machine will just do what it does like a refrigerator. It'll constantly be harvesting. The water will come out the tube, and then each application can do what they want with the water, right? You can put it into jugs, you can put it into tanks, you could just let it run right onto the land.
Thank you very much for that response. That makes me even much happier. Now, next, you said that you produce your products in Canada. Being that you are in Senegal and you see there is a huge need of what you have in Africa, even though I know it's needed also in other parts of the world. Are you considering probably having a plant in Africa to cut down the cost of transportation of the equipments?
That's a very important question. And you've touched on it so well. Like all manufacturing and all products and all global distribution, that is a very big consideration, especially these days, as we all know, cost of shipping and cost of materials has dramatically augmented and increased. So yes, we are going to be doing manufacturing around the globe with our energy systems in particular. We are going to be opening a manufacturing facility in Africa. Actually, Senegal is one place in the free trade zone there in Dakar that we've considered. So we will go all over with the straws. As I touched on earlier, it's a little easier because they're very small. We have 200 in a little box. We can get a few thousand in one typical shipping box, just like a regular carton box. And again, the inventor is very, very stringent to oversee the quality control. So essentially, the straws will, for at least the foreseeable future, we're going to continue to make in our factory in Canada, where we've been doing it for the last 6 years. But our other technologies, like the generators, yes, we will be opening manufacturing plants on each continent and each region of the world. And not just because you and Bob are in Dakar, and I really have a special affinity for Senegal. We've done a lot of work there, but Senegal is actually one of the preferable spots to manufacture in Africa, as you know. So we will definitely be considering ramping up and manufacturing there very shortly.
Wow.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gladys, for the great question. Hey, real quick, Mr. Sean, and I don't know if you said it, I didn't hear it. When you're done with the sod, the straw, when it's completely finished, do you recycle that, or is that just thrown away?
Of course, good question. We always recommend and encourage recycling. It's just so you know, the tube, the actual cap, the sipping cap and the tube themselves are made from 100% biodegradable, recyclable, plant-based material. So it's not a typical, polyethylene plastic. It's a, organic plant-based material. We went through a lot. Bob remembers this. We went through for years. We spent a lot of money, as all technologies do, on research and development. We tried to make them from bamboo. We tried to make them from hemp, all sorts of other things. And just to be honest, it affected the performance. So as much as we'd love to make the straw from, bamboo or plants, it honestly affected the performance of the straw. It just didn't hold or function as well. And again, this is life-saving matter, so we don't want to compromise the technology. So we continue to make it in the plant-based, recyclable, biodegradable plastic.
Wow.
It just works best. It just works best.
Just like in passive, this keeps getting better. Listen, I have so many questions being sent to me. Is there any way that I can get these questions to Jeffrey, and I could send him when on your leisure time, maybe answer some of these, because there's just way too many questions out there. With your permission, I'd like to compile a list and I'll get them to Jeffrey, because I'm definitely going to put Jeffrey to work, because I know he just gave me a lot of work to do and I'm real happy to do it. If that's possible, that would be great. Mr. Sean.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Our pleasure. Absolutely. Please, any questions, any thoughts, ideas, feedback, anything at all, just lay it out. And Jeffrey's extraordinary, he's so knowledgeable, and Bob and myself will be glad to go through and answer every single question for you. Because I consider this the start of a very special long-term relationship. And the idea is that everyone is familiar and knowledgeable, and we're all on page together. So, I know that we're going to do a lot of work together. So I'm very happy to, if it's another call with more discussion or just a list of questions, allow us to respond and get all that information to you. Our pleasure.
Thank you very much. Now, Mr. Sean, I have two important ladies that I want you to hear them. One is Marcine, and after Marcine, a very powerful sister of mine from P&G, Nancy. So let Marcine, you go first, and then we'll have Nancy right after that. Go ahead, Marcine.
Thank you so much, Chris. Wow, this is a mind-blowing. I see why you told me I was going to cry. I've been crying. Thank you so much for this great opportunity. This is my passion. I finally got it. I just want to thank Sin and Bob for giving me and giving us in Unpassive everything that we always need, because when there's water, there's life. When there's light, there's development. You guys get it. Thank you so much. My first question is, how can I join because I'm ready to help my people.
Thank you, Sister Marcine, and you have already joined. We're already joined by heart and by mission and passion. So we're already together.
Okay, the reason I'm asking that is because I have a need of this water right now, immediately in my country. My people are dying from cholera. They need some drinking water. They need something to get away from this sickness. They are dying day, minute after minute. When Bob was explaining, he's talking about children dying, and I was crying because that's exactly what is going on right now. And I was like, this is the solution. I hope that I can use this opportunity and we can try to do something. Basically, it's horrible. So that's why I'm asking, what can I do now? We have a little group. Our group is all winner, and we have contributed some money. I mean, it's not much, but I don't know if the little that we contributed can help us already to do something for now.
Absolutely. You are so right. And Bob touched on that very powerfully. We all know, and that's what drives me, Marcine, exactly those facts that every 6 seconds as a global average, children are dying, and not so much even from lack of water or access to water. It's horribly ironic, but it's from waterborne, water-related illness, right? So we always say water is life. Water is life, literally, but we call it life-taking water when, like you said, it has cholera or other amoeba, bacteria, virus, all the contaminants that give dysentery or illness. We would love, this is what we serve, this is what we live to do. We will help you as much as we can, as expediently as we can, with as many of our solutions as we can. Let's work together specifically on a focus in the community or the area that you want to focus on. I know the whole world needs implementation of all the solutions, but we just try and do project by project, right? We try and do as much as we can, like you said, with the resources we have for the area. So you could let us know what area, what community, how many people, and yes, we will do everything we can on behalf of we and Water is Life to support and match and back or do a one-to-one with the donations or sending over the solutions. I would be glad to come over with Ken from Water is Life and bring straws with us. So let's work through together on what you feel will be the best, most impactful solution, how many we need, where they're going, which technology we should use, right? Is it one of our filters? Is it straws? So let's identify, what's going to be best, most effective, and then we'll go through how we can get it done as fast and as much as we can. Amen.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I am so blessed to be part of Unpassive. This is it. This is it. This is all about. I mean, thank you so much. I'm going to contact Chris and we will go from there. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. This is it.
Thank you, Sister Marcine. God bless. Thank you. Yourself, the community, everyone there is in our thoughts and our prayers every day as we literally deal with, I know we went through COVID but I always say that before COVID and after, we have the world's gravest problem, which is the water crisis. So we never stop, and of course we're not going to stop doing and giving and caring until we've been able to solve the crisis. And I'm really sorry to hear about the cholera outbreak. We were in Haiti a few years ago, so we've dealt with that. And yes, to let you know, it's important because cholera is a very unique and very frightening, horrible. but our straws and our Sun Springs, our filters do remove, they remove all bacteria, all virus, all amoebas, and cholera as well.
Thank you so much. And I also want to thank all my OWINA brothers and sisters that have already contributed for this water project emergency in Cameroon. I'm really, really happy. We are just in need to win it. And I'm sure we're going to win it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Marcine.
Win-win.
Absolutely.
Let's
She's
do it.
been waiting. I told her, Marcine, you're going to be blown away. So I got people crying on my phone right now, and that puts more water in the air. So I'm happy. Nancy,
The
my
cycle
beloved,
keeps going.
that keeps going. My beautiful sister from Nancy, who I really thought about on this. You go ahead. The floor is yours, Nancy.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you, Chris and Mati, and all of you for organizing this meeting. This is one of the very powerful webinars today. And thank you to Bob and to Sean for coming on. And I didn't know that you were founders. And now my heart is, I'm so grateful. Anyways, thank you so much for today's presentation. It's very, very powerful. I look back to I was listening and I'm thinking of my country. My country, I think we are so blessed with natural resources. We have lots of trees, you know, the air and the rivers, and it's really beautiful here. But the thing I'm concerned about is we are sitting on these natural resources that can produce what you have just spoken about, clean water and clean electricity. But unfortunately, it's not happening. There are a lot of, even right now here in Port Moresby, the power has just gone off and we are like in the heat. I'm outside trying to get some fresh air and listening on this webinar. So I see a big need for clean electricity in PNG. So my question is, I know this is gonna have to go back again to Mr. Mati Digamo. He's a godfather of One Passive Nation, and also Chris and other leaders, and Mr. Ash himself as well. But I just want to throw it out right now and maybe get some thoughts on this one. What are some of the requirements that we would need for a country like Papua New Guinea to have clean electricity? Because I think, I don't think I really understand this 35% relative humidity, but in PNG, it's very hot. There's a high humidity here. So I believe there's a possibility of us having this rural electrification that is clean and that can be generated in every, like you're talking about reaching out to schools and to people, you know, in remote areas. And this really applies to me. I'm sitting down and I'm thinking back to all the villages and the schools, and we have kids that are crossing rivers to go to schools, crossing, you know, dangerous terrains and mountains to go to school and get all this, you know, cross over, swim over the rivers. They have to hold their books and bags, you know, in the air while they're crossing over to go to attend school. So my question is, what are some of the requirements that my country needs, that PNG needs? Or has your company considered PNG in any way before, until today? Or just what are some of the things that you see that can happen in a country like PNG, producing clean, when we're talking about clean electricity? And we have rivers, but I really like the idea about the straw, because in the province that I come from, not my home province, but the province I was married to and grew a family in from, we have this palm oil company,
Right.
And you know they give fertilizers for the oil palm growers, and they scatter these fertilizers. It's very, very, it's actually contaminating our rivers right now. And there are a lot of sickness coming out from these chemicals going and polluting the river system. So I'm also wondering, how can we get the straw from your company? Can we get it sooner? How soon can we get it? What's the cost of it? Can you give me the cost as
Absolutely.
well?
Well, first of all, our love and sending you all of our energy, all of our good, clean, powerful, positive, supportive energy to Papua New Guinea. I've been very blessed to visit 77 countries on our beautiful planet. I hope that I will be able to visit every one of them on this planet through my lifetime and visit all of you and all of us together, cover the globe. The answer is categorically, we absolutely want to come to Papua New Guinea. We want to go to every country, every corner of this planet. And there is nothing that is needed. Our water systems, our water filters, the straws, and the energy systems are designed to work anywhere on the planet. So Papua New Guinea, I know, is a beautiful, beautiful island. Like you said, all the natural resources that are there. But the wonderful news is that our technologies, all of the systems, all the things that we've talked about, we could send over straws tomorrow to Papua New Guinea, and all of our technologies will work day one anywhere in the world, especially in Papua New Guinea. So I look forward. I'm very honored to help serve and help support and bring everything over there to Papua New Guinea. And I know Jeffrey and Bob and myself and everyone from the Bless team and On Passive team want to come and visit you on the beautiful island.
Thank you. Awesome. And also, I would like to thank Jeffrey as well. I guess that's the connecting point to Mr. Chris Johnson, and that's how we're all connecting together. Thank you. My other question is about to Bob, or maybe you can answer them, Sean. It's about the generator. He mentioned something about a generator that is not, that doesn't work with fuel, with the wind. It just goes on. I'm really interested in that one.
Yes, Bob, you're more than welcome. You're extraordinarily articulate. If you want to share with our sister a bit about the generator technology, that'd be wonderful. And yes, Jeffrey is our the heart of all of this. He is our interconnector, and please, exactly everything we do together and through Jeffrey, who's united us all, and he's our bridge and interconnector.
Awesome. The thing I mentioned about the generator is that the fuel prices in the country has really gone up. It's gone up,
Yes.
And a lot of our rural communities, they live on the generators to generate electricity in the villages. So that's why when I heard about Bob mentioning that generator, I was really, it really interests me. So maybe we can get the word out to our people, and I don't know, start purchasing from you guys or something. So yeah, go ahead, Bob.
Yes, I'm not the scientist. I know a little bit about some of the unique materials and technologies, but essentially the easiest thing to just keep in mind is there is no need for an external stimulus, so to speak. There's no need for petrochemical fuels, no need for wind, no need for heat. It's a self-contained box, as Sean has explained to me. If you put your ear next to it, you'll hear a hum. That's all. There's no byproduct. There's no thing released into the environment. It's just a self-contained, constant output generator. That's one of the several technologies. And you can read about that on the website, weworldenergy.com. It's called the Magnetron. You'll see it on the website.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Bob. And Jeffrey will be sharing a lot of information and technical information. And exactly like you said, as we all know, fuel costs are just augmenting and getting higher and higher. But, you know, regardless of the price of fuel, we always say, why worry about the logistics and refueling and putting gas or diesel into a generator when we have a generator, like Bob mentioned, in a container that, continuously runs 24/7 as a green generator. There is a battery mechanism built in, and there's a loop with magnetics, but essentially the bottom line is that it requires no outer stimulus, no fuel, like Bob mentioned, and it comes in different sizes, all within its self-contained secure container. So it really is becomes the game changer in terms of logistics, pricings, efficiencies. And our idea, of course, is nothing short of bringing as much clean, green electricity to every building and every business and every community on the planet.
Thank you very much, Sean. Thank you so much. And the last and final thing is I just want to say that, there are many things, wisdom in the heart of a man. Only the wise will bring it out. And I'm just so thankful to Jeffrey and to Chris Johnson and Matti. The wise always bring out the best. And thank you for blessing us today with Mr. Bob and Mr. Sean today. Thank you. I appreciate your time and for giving us a wealthy information with the highest value. And it is truly a synergizing that is going on with OnPassive and with We Clean. We're going to clean because OnPassive, we are a clean business. And now we're engaging with clean water, clean electricity. We're going to change the world. So thank you so much for what you guys are doing. And we're going to keep you guys in prayers. Thank you so much. Back to you, Mr. Chris, my brother.
And thank you, Nancy. Very excited. Hey, Mr. Sean, how is your battery doing, buddy? I know it's like 11 o'clock at night. I'm in Michigan. How you doing? I know you got to get a drink of water or something.
Water is life. Exactly. As you'll learn, in our friendship working together, not only because I love it and live for water technology, but I'm famous for drinking a lot of water. I love it. We have another incredible, actually, product. It's a technology as well. We'll touch on next time, but it was developed and it's being brought to the world by a very well-known, famous action hero movie star, like a Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee. His name is Conan Lee. He's a collaborator and a friend of ours, a partner of ours. Just a quick note. I hadn't brought it up tonight, but just when you mention about drinking water, it's a drops. So it's imagine essentially just like drops, like a liquid solution of drops that you put in anything, water, soda, tea, coffee, and it is an instant filter. So it filters all contaminants, heavy metals, bacteria, virus, and adds 112 minerals at the same time. It's called the Miracle Mineral Water or Miracle Mineral Drops. And it has been in the US and it has been making multitudes of impacts and testimonials on illnesses, disease. Again, we all know, and we're very sensitive, no one's making claims and we're not, healing and touching on that space, only in so much that I can let you know that it is absolutely extraordinary, that it's an instant drop filters and you receive the wondrous, powerful benefit of having 110 minerals packed in every drop of the water. So that's something also that we have available immediately. In fact, I was just on local TV in Costa Rica, or nationwide TV, with Conan. He's an extraordinary magnetic gentleman, and he is aligned with We, and he is now a part of We, and he's brought his technology, his water treatment, or his water miracle drops to us so that we could help be the channel or the group that bring it out to the world. And as we all know, just like with food, of course, water and energy, but these minerals, not only for everyone around the world in terms of their overall health, wellness, and disease, but imagine the impact and life-saving and life-changing could be for kids and everyone around the world that don't have, are not getting the nutrients or the minerals or vitamins that they need in health. So just another extraordinary product that we have in our portfolio of solutions. And again, it can be, it has its core, base with the science that needs to always be on the bottle, but we can also private label that for the Bless or On Passive organization, your wonderful, impressive organization.
Thank you, Sean. Hey, guys, I want to let you know, and to Mr. Sean, I would like to talk to Mr. Ash about maybe starting our first Bless before we launch, where the Angels, you all know who you are. I know we have some countries and some of our own family that are struggling with water. I would like to talk to Ash about it first, and I'm sure Ash is probably going to contact you, Sean or Bob, about this. I'm pretty sure he's listening right now. I know he is traveling, but he said that he'd be on YouTube and listening to this. But just to let you all know, we'll get information where you can get these straws. I'll post them somewhere, if you got family right now, but we want to make this our first Bless project through Sean, through Bob, through we Bless, loving it. Bless, I think it's an amazing thing, but I do want to talk to Ash first and clarify he is the CEO of Unpassive, and I don't make decisions, he does. But I think after he's been listening to this and hears it, I think he's going to be blown away. I think he's going to be calling Sean as fast as he can. So, Sean, how's your time? I got some hands up. I know it's after 11, and I got a lot of questions here, but I can get them written down and sent to you. But give me a time, Sean. I don't want to keep you all night.
No, I appreciate everyone's time. As they say, you never get tired when you're so excited and passionate and adrenalized by all we're doing. No, I'm good for another few minutes. And again, I really cherish and I feel all of your energy and all of your love and support and chemistry. So I think you keep going. And please do wish Ash a safe trip, a blessed trip as he's traveling. And again, anytime respectfully that's good for him, we'll all convene again, and look forward and very honored to meet him like all of you. And let's just all align together and do as many great things as we can together. That's so it's about, right? All the relationships, and we're all on team together.
Absolutely. I appreciate you. All right, guys, we got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hands. If you guys can do it in a couple minutes, I don't mean to rush you, but you can also send me the questions. Let's start with Dr. Masago. Could you keep it down to like 2 minutes? And then I'm going to go straight down the line on the panel. Doctor, can you please unmute yourself, please?
Hi, everyone. This is so exciting. And thank you for bringing me in. Chris Johnson, I've been dying to talk. I really am excited about what Sean is saying, because I have lived in a country where I've also held children in my hands, dying because of water issues, because of HIV/AIDS, because of many other illnesses. So you are an answer to the world, really, Sean. I was just wondering how you deal with politics when it comes to this, because there are already businesses in the world that are using oil in their industries, and they may be opposing to some extent what you do as with green energy or with clean energy. I'm saying this because in Botswana, for example, one time there was an introduction of, there's lots of sun in Botswana, and there was an introduction of solar panels in communities, in many, many communities, just to test that project. And somehow there was a sabotage in such a way that the project didn't work at the end. And we believe it is because of these powers behind about wanting to do their own businesses, even though it's in an unclean way. So how do you deal with that? But otherwise, I would like to say I cannot wait for this project and for Bless to start, because I live in Norway. I started a foundation here again because I had started one in Botswana, and we were trying to use reverse osmosis to help provide clean water in the Kalahari Desert. And it is very, very expensive. And as a charity organization in Norway trying to fundraise, we couldn't reach the money. So we are still actually trying to fundraise for that project. So you are just an answer to us. So I'm happy to be here, but I would like you to respond to my question as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doctor. It's an honor and pleasure to meet. Blessings extraordinary what you've done and the project, and you've really touched me by sharing, and I can really identify with what you said. As I had mentioned, in the honor in fundraising, but a lot of the challenges and a lot of the difficulties and sometimes even frustrations, right? When we want from our heart so much to help and get the project done and bring a solution, and we're limited, so to speak, by the resources, or having to depend on the fundraising. And as I had mentioned earlier in the call, that's what inspired. That's why this We initiative and our global movement and project with Obless and On Passive becomes very important and unique and distinct, because we are not relying on, we are not dependent on, we are not going to be held up by waiting to do a fundraiser or do a charity project, although that's very noble. And of course God bless all the projects as I've done. That's why, again, the way we're doing it with the commercial model of the sales and the leasing and the rental program of our generators guarantees us a very good revenue and strong resources to ongoing, continuously be able to have the resources. So that's, again, going back to why it's so important, so imperative, so instrumental that we implement the mechanism whereby we use the energy generator program to generate, not only, of course, deserve profits and commissions for everybody involved, but allow us the resources to do the donations. On your second point, yes, exactly. The reverse osmosis, again, depending on where the water source was or the nature of the project, exactly as you touched on, has been historically difficult. Again, just because of the electricity usage and the costs and efficiencies. That being said, I'm glad, not everyone likes to touch on it, but I am glad you brought that up, because politics, as we know, as much as in humanitarian and doing the right thing for humanity and doing something that is a fundamental human right for everyone to have life-giving water. We all know, we recognize that there is politics at play, whether we like it or not, everywhere in the world at all times. And when you're in the energy sector, which is the second largest industry in the world, next to number 2 to pharmaceuticals. And of course, when people talk about energy or the power industry, they're primarily referring to the oil industry. And of course, there is major politics, we recognize, and there are major interests at play and at work, as you touched on. What we have done, we have taken a great amount of time and thought and resources and consulted with some of the most significant attorneys and industrial leaders, commercial leaders, corporate heads, on how we implement this game-changing technology and program in such a way that, of course, we are safe, we are successful, and we're able to implement it without getting, like you mentioned, pushback or other issues that wouldn't allow us to come to market. And that is why we very specifically and very legally and very strategically have our program as it is. Remember, we're not selling the generators, so we don't sell them. There's not a price, and we're not marketing, that we're, an alternative to fuel, or we don't get into discussing that, so to speak. We just happen to have our own generator system that's in a container, in a closed, secure container. It doesn't happen to use fuel. It doesn't use fuel, just like the solar industry is booming around the world, just like wind. Everybody knows that when you talk about clean energy, you're talking about wind or solar at this point, because, magnetic systems like ours are new to market. So what we do is we're very careful that we just have our own rental leasing program. So that's one way that we come in. And remember, we're not, so to speak, doing a grand scale marketing of, this is the generator that's, changes the world. We just humbly come to the world direct to our customers. So businesses and buildings or projects or, hospitals, schools, agricultural, government buildings. And we have thousands of them right now already interested and signed up for our program. So remember, it is the right, and no one can stop us. Just like by law now, homeowners are allowed to put solar systems, right? People are allowed to, so to speak, go clean or go green or, be independent, keeping the grid as the backup with solar or wind. We just happen to be another alternative or another system that's a no fuel based system. But we try and keep things, congruent, and we keep them under our program where we lease and rent as opposed to selling. But truly, we don't know, we can't control, some of the politics at play, but we do our very best to bring out the program in that regard. And again, the important thing is that we just offer a program, a leasing rental program with our generators, direct to customers, direct to businesses, keeping it in that regard. That's why we are not entering and not getting involved as much in the politics. We're just dealing with our customers. And part of, I think, the success or the support of our program, remember, has been that we are supplying our generators, actually, believe it or not, to oil companies. There's many oil companies. There's natural gas companies. There's mining companies, government entities, military, everyone, government buildings, state senators, Capitol buildings, all that want our generator and need our generator. And as much as we know we're going to make a major impact, and we would love to get to every building on the planet soon enough, keeping things in perspective, even if we, implement 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 businesses and customers, that's a major portfolio and business for us, but it does not even make a dent. It's not even a small dent or percentage of the planet that still uses, oil or diesel or coal, unfortunately. And that being said, those are just some of the things that we do, mitigating the politics of things. But we truly feel we have support, Doctor, as well. Now, as you know, there's never been a more important time in humanity. There's so much support for green energy right now, from the UN, from government levels, that, we're getting a lot of support and a lot of backing from organizations and groups to bring out our solution. And once our generators are in the market in enough scale, as Bob sort of always says, I like his phrase, you can't put the genie back in the bottle. So we will be out there. We will have our generators across the world in different businesses, different buildings, oil companies, military, and I don't believe there'll be a force that can stop us or push it back. It'll be the new way of the world. Of course, we're not going to replace oil by any means and anytime soon. That's just the reality. But if we can, implement and impact and help thousands and thousands and thousands of villages and buildings, we're just going to do it one step at a time, one generator at a time. And we are working with some, very strong groups and interests and different politicians, if you know what I mean, that are on our board, that are we ambassadors, that are a part of our team, helping us get these out there into market successfully.
Thank you very much. I'm glad. It's just that it is very important that Bless also thinks about this, because there are monopolizing companies that may find a way to block this implementation, especially if you want to do it massively in communities. Like, I am looking forward to so many communities benefiting from this water project, especially. But I do not want to deny that there are such kind of blockages on the way. And I'm glad that you already have been there and you have solutions in place, attorneys, ways of talking to politicians. Systems just have to be penetrated in order for this to have massive impact. In some countries, we should just be aware that there may be challenges. So I'm glad if Bless, Chris, can put that in place to ensure that we will be dealing with such kind of blockages on the way. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. Excellent. Very, very important point.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. I'm going to treat, guys, it's 11:17. I know Sean is probably one of those guys that says, I could talk all night, but he's probably got to use the restroom or his wife's pointing the finger at him. So let's shut it down 11:30. I'm going to get through as many as I can. Bruce, unmute yourself, guys. And I'm sure at a later time we can invite Sean and Bob back at their convenience and we can keep this going. So Bruce, go right ahead until Sean's battery dies, or 11:30.
Thank you, Chris, for getting this together. And thank you so much, Jeffrey, for bringing these gentlemen to us. And thank you, Sean and Bob, for having the enthusiasm and compassion you have. And welcome to Unpassive. 20 years ago, I found a guy who had what looked like a box that actually did what you're talking about. It actually took the atmosphere and made it into water. I'm just wondering, and I remember I talked to him from Uganda, and it was about trying to make something big enough to help the government do that. But the first question is, I know that the most important things we have is we need air and we need water before anything else will live. But what's the size of a unit that you would have for, let's say, a small village?
Thank you. Yeah, you are absolutely correct. Air and water, and of course, food. But as we know, energy drives the planet. Energy drives life and the business, and that's why truly, we as focused on the water and the energy as the two core base most important things or commodities on the planet. Of course, food, but where you have water and you have energy, you can grow food. So that's what we call our final holy trinity, if you will: the water, the energy. As you all may know, there's some extraordinary food growing systems in containers where you provide the potable water, electricity, and you can harvest multiple times more organic food growth in controlled environment containers. That's another technology we're working with and looking forward to bring to the world. But just to address your question, currently we have two sizes. There's two sizes of the water. The generators, of course, are in all sizes: 5 kilowatt for a home, 20 kilowatt, 50 kilowatt, 100 kilowatt an hour, 1 megawatt for projects. The water harvest system is 500 liters a day and a 2,000 liter a day system. They could be scaled bigger, but truly what we're focusing on is mass manufacturing those sizes. A 200 liter a day is ideal for a household or a family. That's why we sort of have that size, and 2,000 liter a day would be nice for a small community or a school. Obviously, you can stack, or we can align many units together, right? They're not that big. You'll see the picture. So we could put many machines next to each other and get as many thousands of liters a day as needed.
Well, I was talking to within a government in Uganda, and it was just too big a project, so we let it go. But is this something that can be done in forms of you said you would rent the machines, so would this be like in a form of a co-op, just like you have coffee growers that form co-ops? Could you form a co-op for clear water?
Yeah, absolutely. Great point. Yeah, co-ops are used all over the world. Great for agriculture. So great idea. Local community or people could form their own water co-op or water delivery co-op for sure. And again, just to kind of touch on what we talked about before, our job is essentially to provide the system, right? We provide the technology, we provide the system, and then each community or each group or each co-op or each government or organization, whoever has the machines, they'll use them in the way that they need to use them in their local community, right? They can gather and collaborate and make a co-op. They can make a water company. They can bottle it. They can distribute it. They can resell it. They can donate it. So again, our job is to get the technology out there to the communities. And then, like you said, great idea. Local people can make their own co-ops or make their own organization or their own structure of how they want to deliver the water.
That gets the governments out there. I was in Zanzibar when they had terrible flooding and they had terrible cholera. So it's true that you have to get fresh water because there's no potable water during that time. So this is a way to get people to have drinkable water that they don't have to boil, which would be much better than what exists right now. Is that correct?
That is exactly correct. Absolutely. All of our technologies, whether they're the filters and sun springs and desalinizations, everything that we have are all to deliver clean, safe, potable, life-giving water.
But one last question. It has to do with, I've been to Kathmandu and all places, and everywhere they have no decent toiletries. Would this kind of system work on the drainage system at all?
That's a good point. Amazing where you've been in amazing places around the world. Kathmandu is somewhere I would love to go. I haven't been, but keeping in mind, remember, we don't get involved with infrastructure and pipings and the city waterworks, because of course that is either in most cases an archaic system, or like in the US, a system that's contaminated or rusted or not delivering. That's a municipality or a government or a city's, that's their world, dealing with the infrastructure. So we don't get into the engineering or water pipes or systems, but our technologies, our systems allow for off-grid, no piping, clean, safe water anywhere at any time, either as a filter, working with your own filter or the community filter for the contaminated water source, or having the water harvest system that will deliver water to you on the site, in your home, in your building, on your farm, on the spot, where we don't have to worry about the failing archaic water system in that country and in many other countries around the world, unfortunately.
Well, I appreciate you for all of your compassion and your enthusiasm. And I look forward to working with you in the future.
Oh, likewise. God bless. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce. Guys, we got about 5 minutes. Milo, go. Go, Milo,
Hey,
go.
thank you, Chris. Thank you, Peter, for having this show, and all the founders that have come on. And thank you, Jeffrey and Bob and Sean. And I just got a couple questions. About how many households would a generator take care of? How many would it supply, number one? And is this something that is scalable? Is it something that, say, if you had an apartment house, you could go from 5 apartments to 300 apartments and put something in? And it's just, do you just change the filter if you want to scale up, or is it something you should do in advance? And then also, I guess what I'm asking is it scalable, and is the energy storable? If you have extra energy, is it storable? Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Go ahead, Bob, or if you like. Thank you, good sir, for the question. And the answer is yes, everything is scalable. It's very important. I'm glad you brought that up. In any technology, in any solution, anything that we're doing, everything needs to be scalable, of course, because, you know, there's the individual, you know, that may have their home, their humble home, and they need and they deserve, you know, light, clean electricity. And then, of course, we have, you know, large buildings, hospitals, hotels, resorts, you know, industrial, commercial properties that need a lot of power. So the answer is yes, the electricity, of course, is storable in batteries. So the generator will output, as all generators do, right? It's going to output the electricity that it's generating on a continuous, constant, you know, base load delivery of however many kilowatts per hour it's rated. So let's say it's a 100 kilowatt per hour generator that will put out a consistent 100 kilowatt per hour delivery. If you need a megawatt, you know, we put down a megawatt size. So if you have 300 apartments or 10 apartments, whatever the size of the building or the application, we put the appropriate size generator to cover the full electricity needs. So we have scalable sizes. We could stack various generators together. And yes, of course, any of that power coming out could be put and stored in a battery if so chose or needs to be done.
Do we know roughly about what an average household uses?
That's a good question. The average in the United States of America is about 7. I think it's like 6 to 8 kilowatts per hour in the United States is the average household use. And of course, it depends a little bit state to state. You know, in the summertime where a lot of electricity is being, a lot of air conditioning is being used, or in the cold winter months, because as you know, the largest consumption of electricity is heating and cooling. So when you're blasting the air conditioning or the heating, that's what requires a lot of the electricity. So every state depends on their price and their peak hours and surcharges. But a general average or a rule of thumb is 5 to 8 kilowatts an hour in the States. A lot less in developing countries.
All righty. Thank you very much.
All right, Michael, you're the last one. Go, go, go.
Hello, thank you, everybody. Thanks very much for the evening. It was a thoughtful one, and I think it speaks our language for us, the engineers right here. So I just wanted to ask you, Sean, this is the question. I used to work in the oil field as a drilling engineer and in Fort McMurray in Calgary, in Canada.
Oh,
yeah.
Engineer Mike, all right.
Yes, sir.
Cold Calgary, Alberta.
Yes, I'm from Calgary, Alberta. Yeah, we used to have temperatures goes like minus 50 degrees in Fort McMurray when we're doing drilling. And you see everything goes shut down. Every the oil that is coming, it turns to pure ice. You know, we start to heat up all the pipes and all of that. So with your technology, can we have the generator? Can it still be working under the minus 50 degrees kind of thing? Then secondly, I would like to know where you people are located so that we can come visit your facility and see what's going on. Thank you.
Absolutely. An honor to meet. Thanks, Engineer Mike. I'm originally from Toronto, Canada. So you brought back memories of some cold winter days growing up. I've spent most of my life in warmer climates, but always a proud Canadian. Excellent point you brought up, and it is important to share. And as an engineer, a brilliant engineer as you are, you're on it. The water harvest system does not function below 0 temperatures. Unfortunately, as you can imagine, and the reason why is, as we talked about earlier, right? We're taking the vapor, the gas, turn it to ice. So if it's below 0, it conflicts with the box. It just can't harvest frozen, frozen gas or vapor. So as much as we'd love to, we do have a lot of communities, as you know, in Canada, the reservations, the First Nations communities that we've worked with over the years to help. What we do there is we can use the system, but we just have to have the system in like, a shed or, in a building or, just under a covering where it's at least above 0. So if we just put it out in the elements in the middle of the open fields of Fort McMurray, of course, it'll all freeze up. The science just won't allow it to work. But as long as we have it in a protected, house or like a shed or, just a little building, and we can keep it above 0, then it will function, then it will work.
Michael, you good?
Yeah, but there was the last one was that, can we come visit where your facility is?
Oh, sorry, Andrew, Mike, you're absolutely, we're, as we say, proudly located all over the world, literally. We have some of our generators and our products and our systems in over 54 countries. We work in over 50 countries worldwide right now. We have set up. We have World Energy dealerships, distributors, channel partners all around the world. As you know, we also work very intimately with the United Nations in a lot of countries. But you let me know where you are, and absolutely, as an engineer, I know you'll appreciate it. We can send you, some of the things like the straws, our other filters, and some of our other technologies we talked about are available to visit in the United States. Anywhere in the world you want to come and visit the technologies, we would welcome that. And of course, we could set up some meetings with, some of the inventors and some of the showcase. We are going to be putting some of the magnetic generators on some what we call showcase buildings. We're working on the state capitol building in Rhode Island and also the UNFCCC. So we're taking a few well-known, prolific, buildings and putting the generator on there, and we'll have a live telemetry camera. So you can come and visit and experience the generator and watch it and see it, as a engineer mind that you are. And for people that can't make it, we're going to have a telemetry camera so people can watch it online. You can actually, just listen and watch it working, and you'll see the outputs of the electricity and everything. So you can see it online, you can visit it in person, and as they say, coming to your area soon.
Thank you, Sean. Guys, don't be mad at me. I did say 11:30. I wish I could have everyone talk, but I don't want to take advantage of Sean, even though I wish I could, and Bob. But if you have
look forward to our next call.
That sounds great, Sean. And Sean, Bob, first of all, guys with their hands up, send your questions to me. I promise I'll get them to Mr. Sean, Mr. Bob, and Jeffrey. Sean and Bob, it's been excellent. Absolutely, really look forward to doing some great things with you guys. Like I said, let me talk with Ash Mafara. I'm pretty sure he's going to be blown away. But man, I don't know how to thank you guys. I told everyone this was going to blow them away. Jeffrey got me all fired up, and I think you did that. But I do appreciate your time. Jeffrey Morlock, thank you for getting this connection. Absolutely wonderful. Lynn Nakamoto, thank you for helping with this panel. Marty, do you want to say something, Marty?
Pretty cool stuff.
That's all you got?
Thanks, Marty. That sums it all up.
It is. It's amazing stuff. So, Sean, Bob, once again, appreciate you guys.
Thank you, brother Chris.
Wow, very proud of
I
you.
feel your energy and passion coming through the phone. It's infectious. And Jeffrey, absolutely, all of our gratitude and blessings. I feel so honored and blessed to have met everyone. I feel like we're all together, and I really look forward to serving together and aligning on this project together for life with every single one of us on the phone. And this is our first of many, many calls and times together making this happen.
Absolutely. Guys, appreciate
God bless both of you. God bless y'all.
Guys, let's everyone unmute yourself, give them a round of applause, appreciation. And we'll shut
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sean.
God bless you.
For everything.
Bless.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Only go with the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
so much.
Thank
You're
you.
more than enough.
These guys on.
Yeah.
Guys rock.
Thank you, Brother Chris.
Thank you,
Rock, Chris.
So much.